You made an interesting point earlier when you distinguished between the various means that are used by China to assault the American democratic system and what the ends are. And I wonder if you would say a little bit more about what you think the ends are. I mean, if you are a Chinese political planner, where do you see all of this going when you look at the world situation with America and Europe, I think, trying to stand for political freedom, and then Russia and North Korea and Hungary and other illiberal democracies or authoritarian regimes?
Yeah, thank you for asking what I think is the key question. And look, some of their ends are pretty short-term and mercenary. Of course, they want to steal our intellectual property. If they have an opportunity to hurt us, to make us sicker, whatever, absolutely. But we need to ask ourselves, what is it that if they are trying to influence the United States, what is it that they would like to influence us to do? And I think the answer to that is fairly straightforward. They want us to pull back from our alliances around the world, in Asia, with Japan, with South Korea, with the Philippines, from NATO. They want us to stop supporting Ukraine. They want us to have a lower military budget, obviously. They want us to stop investing in the revival of our domestic manufacturing. Mr. Grothman was talking, I'm glad he acknowledged it, that there is a massive revival of manufacturing in Wisconsin, in part because of policies we've pursued. They want us to stop doing those things. They would love us to repeal our clean energy subsidies under the IRA. How do I know that? Because they're suing us in the World Trade Organization to get us to do that. And of course they want us to hate each other and to be at war with ourselves so that we are incapable of countering their aggressive actions around the world and so that we look bad to the rest of the world. And so my simple answer to the question of what we should do, and I agree on a lot of the little things that my former Republican colleagues have raised, but the big answer is we should do the opposite of what China wants us to do on those big strategic questions.
There are more than 1 million Uyghurs who have been incarcerated in re-education camps and subjected to mental and physical torture, sexual abuse, deprivation of food. President Biden signed the bipartisan Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act in December of 2021. And this was a break from the prior administration where the former president told President Xi to go ahead with the building of these camps and said it was the right thing to do. Will you just explain what difference that makes in terms of our willingness to confront human rights violations?
As I've tried to do throughout the hearing, I want to distinguish between the Trump administration, which had plenty of officials who were disgusted by the genocide in Xinjiang and tried to do something about it, and the former president. And it's a critical distinction because no matter how hard a State Department under a Republican or Democratic administration tries to stand up for human rights, if the leader, if the president says to a foreign dictator, I don't mind your concentration camps, I envy your power to execute people, I like you because you rule with an iron fist, it completely undermines what everyone else in our country is doing to advance human rights.
And is that a demonstration of what's been called elite capture today, where the use of flattery and...
yeah, I don't know if it was flattery or corruption or if he just shares Xi Jinping's values going in, but the effect is catastrophic to our moral authority in the world.
It seems to me that the point you've made is correct, which is that we need to strengthen and celebrate democratic institutions and democratic freedom, but it's a very difficult thing to do because it's that freedom which also creates the openness and the porousness that authoritarian regimes like Putin or the CCP exploit in order to come in and to try to create problems in our country.
That makes it complicated, but we should have confidence that our democratic system, our open democratic system, is a greater threat to Chinese autocracy than the other way around.
I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back to you.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Fry from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for